what's the nature of atheists nowadays? Do they base their argument on logic and science, or they want to be free from any obeying any God's command, which basically means they just want free and fun life, or it's just a matter of bad perception towards religion in general?
Okay, so it's like I said in my talk, there's different types of atheists. I wasn't the atheist who was trying to prove God doesn't exist. There are some atheists who don't even care. There's some atheists who don't even thought about it. And so atheist is, even the term atheist is a strange term, because atheist apparently is the idea that it's just a lack of belief in God, which is strange. Because you ask any atheist, even Richard Dawkins, the atheist, and you ask him, could God exist? His answer is yes, but I don't believe he does. But his answer is, yeah, he could exist. It's possible, but I just don't believe so. But I think he's being dishonest, because whenever these atheists who make this say that God could exist, they always exclude God when they do their experiments, when they're trying to do their research. They never include God in the equation, as if God doesn't exist. So, these people basically are lying to themselves when they just know they can't say God doesn't exist, because then they're going to be asked, well, why don't you prove that? So they can't do that, but that's their position. Most people don't want accountability in their lives. This is why, for example, when you look at DNA, you see design inference, and there must be a designer. But for the atheists, they know that if they concede that point, then God could well be the answer. So this is the other thing. Now, I'm going to give you another beautiful little tip if you deal with atheists. I don't know how many of you are in the Dawah, but if you come across atheists, and they go on about empirical proof and all this kind of thing, and we have science, and, you're just faith, you believe in winged horses, all this kind of stuff. Ask them a very, very simple question and watch them wilt. So they come there, empirical evidence, observable, objective, we can test it, laboratory, all this stuff. Just ask this question. Remind me of the last experiment you did. You go, what? I said, remind me, the last experiment you did. I haven't done any experiments. Whoa. Where's your empirical evidence, mate? And you'll find out that their empirical evidence is, trust me, bro. Because they believe in what somebody else is telling them is true, and they think that's empirical evidence. Now, the irony of ironies is they're looking for these scientists to be their source of empiricism, when the scientists themselves are using the philosophy of science, which dictates you cannot find absolutes using science. Science is limited. Science today could refute what science today says. Science tomorrow could refute today what science says. So based upon the philosophy of science, you can't even be sure what you believe today is true, based on that philosophy. And I'll give you one little beautiful analogy, this is another lovely one. When someone comes along, science, everything is science, science explains everything, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know the score, yeah? Just give this beautiful little scenario. I've used this a few times on my channel, so I apologize if I'm boring you who've already heard this. Anyhow, just say to this person who's an atheist, just ask them, you're walking in the woods, and in the middle you see a cottage. And you go through this door of this cottage, and then there's a kitchen. And you go to the kitchen, and there's a table. And on this table, there's a cake. But the cottage is empty. Using science, only science, tell me who made the cake and why. They're like, what? I said, tell me who made the cake and why. And they start thinking, I don't know. I know, you don't know. Anyone could have made that cake. An old little lady could have made that cake. A young girl could have made that cake. A baker could have made that cake. It could be a birthday cake. It could be a welcome home cake. It just be a cake because it's a Wednesday. You don't know why the cake is there, and you don't know how the cake is there. All you know with science is that the cake is there. And you can look at what is a cake. You can look at the ingredients of the cake. You could reverse engineer what it's made of. It's made of eggs, flour, chocolate, whatever it may be. But science cannot give you the how, nor the why. And that's just a cake on a table in a cottage. You just watch their faces. They realize science is useless for the why and the how. And it's limited. And the only way we can know these things is extra information. Okay. Now we can extrapolate this now to the universe. We can look at the universe. We can look through telescopes. We can see the origination. We can see stars. We can see this. We can study all of these things. But we can't know how the universe is there. And we can't know why the universe is there. The only way we can have answers to these questions is if the one who created and designed the universe reveals the information. SubhanAllah.